He was a billionaire CEO enjoying the perfect vacation, until one moment froze him in his tracks. His ex-wife was on the same beach, holding a child who looked exactly like him. What happens next will leave you speechless. Watch till the end. Before we begin this powerful story, make sure to subscribe and tap the bell icon so you never miss our inspiring, life-changing content. Like and share this channel with others who value meaningful storytelling. These are more than just stories. Each one carries a profound moral lesson designed to uplift, motivate, and transform. The CEO billionaire was enjoying his vacation until he saw his ex-wife with a child. I had not taken a real vacation in 5 years. Even this one, tucked away on a private beach in the Maldives, was forced on me by my assistant after I passed out in my office. I was exhausted. Not from the money. That was never the problem. But from the silence. The kind that creeps into a mansion filled with glass walls and no soul to echo off of. I stood barefoot in the sand, letting the waves touch the hem of my linen pants. The sun was gold. The breeze was soft. But nothing touched me inside. Not anymore. I walked up toward the beach bar, ignoring the couples around me, sipping cocktails and taking selfies. And then I saw her. A woman in a blue dress, holding the hand of a small boy. My legs stopped moving. My heartbeat faltered. Because the woman in the blue dress was my ex-wife. And the boy looked exactly like me. Same deep-set eyes. Same dimple when he smiled. I wanted to run. But my feet would not move. My throat was dry, my mind racing. Why was she here? Why now? And who was that child? I turned away, hiding behind a palm tree like some coward. I was not ready to face her. Not after what I did. Not after I chose power over love. It had been 6 years. 6 years since I left her, pregnant and crying, in our one-bedroom apartment. Back then, I had nothing. Only a dream to build a tech empire. She believed in me. She worked 2 jobs while I coded all night. She skipped meals to make sure I ate. She lent me her laptop when mine broke. And when I finally got funding, when the millions started pouring in, I left her. I told myself it was necessary. That she would only hold me back. That love was a distraction. I still remember her last words. You will have everything, Adam. But one day, you will realize you lost the only thing that ever truly mattered. That day was today. Because standing on that beach, hiding behind a tree like a criminal, I saw her again. And she was smiling. Not bitter. Not angry. Just peaceful. The boy tugged her hand and pointed at the waves. She bent down, kissed his forehead, and they both laughed. That laugh, it punched the air out of my lungs. It used to be mine. And now, it belonged to someone else. I turned back toward the bar, ordered a drink, and sat down. But my eyes could not stop scanning the beach. She was walking toward the hammocks now. He was climbing into one, kicking his legs, giggling. And for the first time in years, I felt tears rising. I wiped them before anyone could see. What would I even say to her? Hello. Sorry I disappeared while you carried our child alone. Would she even let me speak? Would he even know who I was? I pulled out my phone. Opened my gallery. Not one photo of her. I had deleted everything. Thinking I could delete the pain too. But the heart is not a hard drive. It keeps what matters, even if you try to format it. And now I was here. Watching my past live without me. I wanted to leave. To get on a jet and disappear again. But something in me said, no. Face it. This is your moment. The moment to rewrite who you are. I stood up. Walked slowly toward the hammocks. My hands were shaking. She looked up. Her eyes locked on mine. And for a second, just one brief second, her face changed. Shock. Then pain. Then composure. "Hello, Adam," she said softly, as if no years had passed. As if I was just a stranger on a morning walk. "Hi, Maya," I whispered. My voice cracked. The boy looked up at me. His eyes studied mine. "Are you Mommy's friend?" he asked. I knelt beside him, trying to keep my voice from breaking. I was. A long time ago." He smiled. "Then sit with us." Maya hesitated, but nodded. I sat on the edge of the hammock. My heart was louder than the waves. The boy handed me a seashell. "It is broken," he said, "but I think it is still beautiful." I stared at it, and I realized, so was I. So was this moment. So was she. She had raised him without me, given him kindness, warmth, light. Things I could not give when I was lost in greed. I looked at her. Tears welled in my eyes again. "I was wrong," I said. Her lips quivered, but she said nothing. The boy leaned against her. She ran her fingers through his hair. And then she looked at me again. "Why now?" she asked. "Because I finally saw. Because I finally listened. Because I finally felt." But before I could speak, she stood up. "Walk with us," she asked. I nodded, and the three of us began walking toward the water, where the waves meet the sand, where past and future collide, and where redemption begins, not with words, but with presence. The tide was rising. Foamy waves kissed our feet as we strolled along the shoreline. The boy, our son, skipped ahead, collecting shells and stones, holding each one up with pride. I watched him like a man starved. Every movement, every word, every smile, a piece of a life I had missed. I turned to Maya. She walked beside me, silent. Her face calm. Her eyes guarded. The ocean wind pulled at her dress. I wanted to say 1,000 things, but the weight of them all made my mouth heavy. Finally, I spoke. Does he know?" She did not look at me. "No." The single word cut deeper than a scream. I nodded slowly. "I do not blame you," I said. She stopped walking, turned to face me. Her voice was low. "I used to blame myself. That broke something inside me." She continued. "For trusting you. For believing in us. For thinking love would be enough." Tears stung my eyes. "Maya, I am not angry anymore, Adam," she interrupted. "I was. For a long time. I cried every night. I cursed your name. I screamed into pillows. I hated you with everything in me." She took a breath. But then I looked at him, and I knew I had no room for hate. Only love. I dropped my head, ashamed. "Do you hate me now?" I whispered. She did not answer immediately. The waves answered for her, crashing gently, again and again. "No," she said. "But I do not know who you are anymore." That stung. Because it was true. I had become someone else. Driven. Ruthless. Successful, yes, but also empty. "I want to know him," I said quietly. She looked away. "He is not a prize. He is not a project. He is a boy with feelings. With memories. With scars I worked hard to heal." I nodded. "I know. I am not asking for forgiveness. I am asking for a chance to earn it." Our son ran up to us, holding a crab shell. "Mommy, look. This one has spikes." She smiled and bent down. "That is a good one, baby." He turned to me. "Do you want to help me find more?" I knelt beside him. I would love to. He grabbed my hand. Just like that. No past. No questions. Just trust. It shattered me. We walked along the beach, hand in hand. He talked endlessly. About turtles. And seaweed. And how he wanted to be a scientist. Maya walked behind us. I felt her eyes on me. Watching. Measuring. Not with anger. But with caution. Later that evening, we sat around a fire pit near the resort. Maya had booked a small villa, the kind with hammocks and mosquito nets and the smell of fresh coconut oil in the air. Our son roasted marshmallows, his face glowing in the firelight. He laughed with such freedom. It reminded me of who I used to be, before ambition consumed me. Maya sat across from me. She was quiet, watching him. I leaned in. I miss you, I said. She did not flinch. Do you miss me? I asked again. She looked at the flames. Then at me. I miss the man I thought you were. I swallowed the lump in my throat. That man is still here. He just got lost. She sighed. People do not just get lost, Adam. They choose paths. You chose yours. I looked at our son. His laughter was like music. I want to choose differently now, I said. She stood. It is not about what you want. It is about what you do. And she walked inside the villa, leaving me with the fire, and the boy, and the weight of my past. He crawled into my lap, holding a half-burnt marshmallow. Do you think stars ever get lonely? He asked. I wrapped my arms around him. I think they do. Then maybe we can wave at them, he said, so they know someone sees them. I closed my eyes. Tears slipped down my cheeks. I think that would mean a lot. And in that moment, I felt something shift. Not in the world, but inside me. A new beginning. One made not of wealth or power, but of presence and love and quiet redemption. But the road ahead was not paved. And Maya's heart was not yet open. The next morning, I woke early. The sun had just begun to stretch across the horizon. Golden light spilled through the trees, dappling the wooden deck of the villa. I sat alone, a cup of untouched coffee in my hands. Birdsong filled the silence. But inside, I wrestled with noise, memories, regret, fear. Maya stepped out quietly, her robe tied loosely at the waist. She was surprised to see me awake. I never remembered you as a morning person, she said softly. I gave a faint smile. I never had much reason to be. She joined me at the table. Not close, but not distant either. For a few minutes, we just sat there, breathing in the ocean breeze. I watched you with him last night, she said. My heart tightened. And you were gentle, she said. Softer than I remembered. I turned to her. He brings that out of me. You did too. She looked away. That softness, Adam, you buried it. You buried everything good in you for a title. I nodded slowly. I know. I buried us. She stood, folding her arms. You cannot undo the years. You cannot father him in one weekend. This is not a movie where forgiveness comes in a moment. I am not asking for a shortcut, I said. I am asking for a door. Her eyes welled. Do you know how many nights I cried because he asked why his father did not want him? A knife twisted in my chest. I would give anything to take that pain from him. Then do not cause more, she said. She turned and walked back inside, leaving me once again with the sting of truth. But this time, I did not feel anger. I felt awakened. My phone buzzed on the table. Emails. Meetings. Stock updates. I stared at it. And for the first time in years, I powered it off. Later that day, Maya handed me a backpack. "He wants you to take him snorkeling," she said. "He asked for me?"
She nodded.
A small smile tugged at her lips.
"He trusts easy."
Like I once did. I took the bag, speechless. She handed me sunscreen, a towel, a bottle of water. "Do not let him go too far. He gets scared if fish come too close." I memorized every word, every instruction, because it was not just a trip into the water.
It was a trip into trust.
We rowed a small boat out to the reef. The guide dropped anchor. Our son strapped on his goggles, chattering the whole time.
"I saw a jellyfish once," he said.
"But I am not afraid anymore."
I smiled.
"You are brave." He looked at me seriously. "Mama says being brave means feeling scared, and still doing the right thing." I blinked fast, hiding the emotion.
"She is right," I whispered.
He held my hand as we jumped in.
The water was cool, clear,
alive with colors. Fish darted beneath us in streaks of silver and blue. He floated beside me, gripping my arm.
Then, a moment of panic.
A larger fish swam past, brushing his leg. He flinched, tensed, began to cry through his snorkel. I wrapped my arms around him instantly.
Pulled off his mask. "It is okay," I said. "You are safe.
I have you." His tears mixed with salt water. His tiny body shook against my chest.
I held him, tightly, patiently, until his breath slowed.
Until his arms curled around my neck. And I realized, this was the first time I had ever held my son in fear. The first time he ever knew I would not let go. When we got back to the villa, Maya met us at the dock. She saw the redness in his eyes. "Are you okay, sweetheart?" she asked.
He nodded.
I got scared.
But he held me. The whole time. She looked at me.
A long, unreadable look. Then she placed her hand gently on his head.
"Go change.
I made your favorite lunch." He ran off, already laughing again, leaving the two of us in silence.
"You stayed," she said quietly. "I will keep staying," I replied.
And she did not walk away this time. She looked at me, and stayed too. That afternoon, the rain came. Soft at first, a whisper on the rooftop.
Then steady, warm, cleansing.
I sat on the porch, watching droplets chase each other down the railing. Maya stepped out with 2 mugs of tea. She offered me one. I took it carefully, like it was something sacred. "Thank you," I said. She nodded, sitting beside me, knees tucked under her. For a while, the only sound was rain tapping the leaves, and the gentle hum of our son playing with toy boats in the bath. Maya sipped her tea, her eyes on the horizon. "He draws you sometimes," she said softly.
My breath caught. "Me." She nodded.
"Stick figures.
With big eyes.
He says you are the man from his dreams." I closed my eyes, fighting the ache in my chest.
"He deserves more than a dream," I said.
"He deserves a father who shows up." Maya looked at me carefully. I never stopped praying that one day, you would understand what you walked away from. Her words were not angry. They were tired.
Worn. But honest. "I do," I whispered.
"And I am sorry it took losing everything to see it." She looked down at her mug. "I do not need you to say all the right things, Adam. I need to see who you become when no one is watching." I nodded slowly. "I am not here to fix the past. I am here to build a future, if you will let me." She said nothing.
But she did not walk away.
And that was enough for now. That evening, I cooked dinner.
Spaghetti. Garlic bread.
The only meal I knew how to make. Maya raised an eyebrow as I fumbled in her tiny kitchen. You never even boiled an egg when we were together. I grinned, wiping sauce off my white shirt. I am evolving.
She almost laughed. Almost.
We ate together at the little wooden table under the soft glow of a lantern. Our son told us stories about space rockets, sea turtles, and why he believed dolphins could understand English. Maya smiled the whole time.
So did I. After he went to bed, she began to clean up. I reached for the plates.
She hesitated, then handed me one. We stood side by side at the sink. The silence was no longer heavy.
Just quiet.
I thought I would hate you forever, she said.
I stopped scrubbing.
But I do not.
I turned to her.
She was staring at the soap bubbles. I hate what you did. But hating you, it only hurts me.
I nodded.
I want to make it right, even if it takes the rest of my life.
She looked at me. Her eyes searched mine. Then, a knock at the door. We both froze. She stepped forward and opened it. A tall man stood there, holding a backpack. He looked from her to me.
Then his gaze lingered on Maya. I hope I am not interrupting, he said.
Her posture changed. Subtle. Guarded.
No, you are fine, she said, stepping aside. He walked in like he belonged. I felt something twist in my gut. Maya, I said quietly, who is he? She looked at me, unsure how to answer. The man turned and extended a hand. I am Daniel.
Maya's friend.
I shook it slowly.
Firm grip. Calm smile.
But something in his eyes felt territorial. My mind raced. How long had he been part of their lives? Was he the one who had held my son when I was not there? Had he been the reason she stopped waiting for me?
I looked at her.
She avoided my eyes. And for the first time since arriving, I felt the sting of jealousy. Of reality. That maybe I was too late. Daniel sat down, casually opening his backpack. I brought the puzzle he left at my place, he said. He has been asking for it all week.
I clenched my jaw. He had a place?
He spent time with my son?
Maya thanked him.
Their familiarity burned like a silent wildfire. I stood by the window, trying to steady my breathing. My heart was a storm. Because I was not just trying to reclaim a family. I was trying to reclaim a place that someone else might already hold. I watched Daniel laugh with ease. He talked about the puzzle, some nature documentary they had watched, and how our son had fallen asleep in his arms halfway through it. Each word carved a little deeper into the pit of my stomach. He knew the bedtime routine. He knew which snacks to avoid. He knew the soft tone Maya used when the boy was afraid of thunder. He knew everything. I should have. Maya glanced at me. Not with guilt, but with awareness. She knew this moment would come, where my past would crash into her present, and I would have to face the life she built, without me. Our son came running down the hallway in his pajamas. Daniel, he yelled, launching into his arms. He held him easily, naturally, like this had happened many times before. I stood frozen. I had no right to be angry, no right to feel replaced. But I did, because I saw it, the bond, the history, the comfort. Hey champ, Daniel smiled, pulling the puzzle from his bag. Ready to finish this? The boy nodded eagerly, dragging him toward the floor. They sprawled out, talking and laughing like brothers. I stepped outside, unable to breathe. The night air hit my face like a wave. Heavy. Humbling. A few minutes later, Maya joined me. She leaned against the railing, arms crossed. You did not ask, she said. Her voice was gentle. But I know you are wondering. I said nothing. just stared out at the dark ocean.
She continued, "Daniel is kind.
He stepped in when no one else did. When I was drowning."
My jaw tensed.
"He is your partner?"
She hesitated. "No."
A flicker of hope sparked in my chest. "But he has been here," she added, "in ways you were not."
That spark dimmed. "He is not trying to be your replacement, Adam.
He is just present."
I looked at her.
"I want to be that too. I know I failed. I know I ran. But I want to stay now. Not as the man I was, but as someone better." Her eyes shimmered. "You do not get to erase what you did. You walked away when I needed you most."
I know.
I cried alone in hospital rooms. Held our baby while bleeding and terrified. I went back to work 3 weeks later. I buried my pain so he would not grow up in it.
Her voice broke.
I gave everything to that boy.
"I see that," I said.
"And I thank you. For every day you showed up, when I didn't." We stood in silence. Only the wind answered. Maya turned to me slowly. "You want to be here?"
"Yes." "Then be here."
Not just for a week.
Not for redemption.
Not for some fairy tale ending.
She stepped closer.
Be here because you finally understand that love is not something you buy or beg for. It is something you show up for. Every single day.
I nodded.
Tears welled in my eyes. I am ready to show up.
For you. For him.
For the man I should have become years ago.
Her lips parted. But before she could speak, the sliding door opened. Our son appeared.
"Mom, Dad, we finished the puzzle." He said it so naturally.
"Mom. Dad."
Maya and I froze.
Daniel stood behind him, silent. Even he looked caught off guard.
The boy held up the finished puzzle, beaming. "I want to put it in a frame," he said. I smiled through the ache.
"You got it, champ."
"We will hang it wherever you want."
He ran inside.
Maya looked at me, her eyes unreadable. Then at Daniel. Then back at me.
3 adults. 1 child. 1 past. 1 uncertain future. The puzzle on the floor was complete. But the puzzle between us was only beginning. Daniel stood quietly in the doorway, watching as our son placed the finished puzzle carefully on the small side table, beaming with pride. Maya moved behind him, gently brushing his hair back, her eyes flickering between the 2 men in the room. Me, the father who had returned, holding the weight of absence in his hands. Daniel, the man who had filled the silence I left behind. Tension hung in the air. Not hostile,
but thick with history. Daniel stood up, dusting off his jeans. "I should go," he said, his voice calm. Maya opened her mouth to speak, but hesitated. "I will walk you out," she finally said. They stepped onto the porch. I watched through the glass. Not because I did not trust them, but because I needed to understand the space I now stood in. My place in their world.
Our world.
Our son ran to his room, grabbing crayons and paper, singing quietly to himself. He was blissfully unaware of the storm of hearts swirling around him. I turned away from the door and sat down, letting my mind wander through the echoes of time. A minute later, the front door opened again. Maya returned. Her face unreadable. She leaned against the frame, arms crossed. "He is not in love with me," she said. I looked up. "And are you in love with him?" She paused. Her silence spoke more than words. "He is a good man," she said finally. "Steady. Honest. He has never hurt me." "And I did," I whispered. She nodded. "I am not trying to compare," I added quickly. "I just need to know where I stand." Maya took a slow breath. "You stand at the beginning," she said, "but not at the center." I felt that truth deep in my chest. I had to earn that place. Not demand it. Not assume it. Our son peeked around the corner, holding up a drawing.
"It is us," he smiled. "All of us.
Even Daniel." I took the picture. A stick figure family. 4 people. 3 smiling. 1 standing slightly to the side.
That one was me.
I smiled though my heart ached.
"It is beautiful," I said. He beamed.
"Can we hang it on the fridge?"
I looked at Maya.
She gave the faintest nod. And I understood. I was not being pushed out. But I was not being pulled in either. I was being invited, slowly, cautiously, into something fragile. And if I wanted a future here, I would have to build it from the inside out.
With patience.
With humility.
With love.
Maya stepped forward and took the drawing. She placed it on the fridge with a magnet shaped like a seashell. Then turned to me. "You are staying a few more days, right?"
"Yes," I said.
"As long as you will have me."
She nodded once.
"Then let's take it one day at a time."
Our son clapped.
"Can we go to the turtle sanctuary tomorrow?"
I smiled.
"I would like nothing more." He ran off again, already excited. Maya stood beside me.
Still quiet. Still unsure.
But beside me. And for the first time in a long time. That was enough. Because this was not the end. It was only the beginning of truth, repair, and maybe hope. The next morning, the sky was clear. A soft wind rustled the palm trees, and sunlight spilled gently across the villa floor. I stood by the door, tying the laces on my sneakers. Maya emerged from the bedroom, already dressed, her hair tied back, casual and calm. Our son was skipping around the living room, holding a small plush turtle in one hand and his sun hat in the other. "We are going to save the turtles today," he shouted with excitement. His joy filled the space like music. And for the first time in years, I felt the warmth of something I had long forgotten. Belonging. We spent the day at the sanctuary. Feeding, learning, laughing. I watched him hold a baby turtle with awe in his eyes. He looked at Maya and me and said, "See? Even the small ones need someone to protect them." Maya looked at me. No words. But in her eyes, I saw something new. Something soft. That evening, as the sun set in a blaze of amber and rose, we sat on the beach again. The boy rested between us, head on Maya's lap, feet on mine. He had fallen asleep listening to the sound of the waves. And in that moment, quiet, fragile, whole, I finally understood. Love is not loud. It is not perfect. It is not always rewarded on time. But it is honest. And it is patient. And when it is real, it gives you the strength to stay. Maya looked at me. Her voice barely a whisper. "I do not know what tomorrow holds, Adam. But today, you showed up." I swallowed the knot in my throat. "Then I will show up again tomorrow. And the day after that. As long as it takes." She nodded. One tear slipped down her cheek. I reached out. Wiped it away, gently, respectfully. The stars began to emerge. The tide pulled in closer. Our son stirred, mumbling something about turtles in his sleep. And I smiled. Not because everything was perfect, but because it was real. Because I was no longer chasing power. I was choosing presence. I had been a man who once walked away from love. But in returning, not to reclaim but to repair, I had found something greater. Forgiveness. And in that forgiveness, a future. Moral of the story. Success built at the cost of people you love is a hollow victory. True wealth lies in showing up, not just when it is easy, but when it hurts. A second chance is never owed. It must be earned with humility, consistency, and truth. When you choose love over pride, presence over ego, and healing over running, you may not undo the past, but you begin to write a future worth living for. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this heartfelt story. If it touched you in any way, please consider sharing it, leaving a comment below, and reminding someone today. You are never alone.